Good day everyone, so hope you're all doing really well. In today's video we'll talk about money, motivation and gacha games like Genshin Impact primarily, and we'll touch a bit on Withering Waves. But to first answer the question in the video title, what has happened to poor old KokomiClan these last few months? Well, actually I've been in a really good spot, but the TLDR of it is our company basically sold off a unit. I've been transferred to another division. It's a $30 billion entity, and because I work as an investment firm as a quant, we've been kind of commissioned to build out the AI capabilities and automation, and there's been a couple of financial incentives tied to it. So from my perspective, the last 8 months has been a lot of hard work. It's been very satisfying, and also very intellectually rewarding as well. So it's not just about the financial incentives. So in that regard, my ability to play gacha games and the time that I have to enjoy them has significantly gone down. And that also means, as you can see here, my combat is not as skilled as it should be. I'm not hitting the fancy Malvika combos and all of that. But nonetheless, if I can be really honest with you guys, I've been enjoying Genshin Impact a lot more, also as a consequence of it, as a consequence of my work situation, primarily because I use Genshin Impact to sit back, relax, de-stress, and that means not playing the combat. You see, all these out of bounds videos that I've been putting on the channel lately, they've been like the product of me just wanting to do something a bit different in Genshin Impact, because my motivation is just not the combat anymore. I mean, we don't have a roguelike dungeon, we don't have meaningful endgame content that rewards you with tokens that you can redeem for skins that have new animation effects and unlockable stories and really cool stuff. No, we've got Stygian Onslaught, and despite the fact that, someone like me that's got an account that's over $10,000 worth in Genshin Impact, I can't clear the hottest content because I got the wrong C6 units. I got the old characters. I supported Hoya when they were small, and now when they're a big company, they just kind of neglect me. So it's kind of what it is. I'm not salty. Okay, I am salty, but yeah. So that's the situation with Genshin Impact, but when it comes to the motivation of playing Genshin Impact, I'm really just keeping it to stories and the overworld content, and in that sense, the amount of YouTube videos that I can put out is just going to be a lot less. I think a lot of people have noticed the slower pace of videos and also the alternative types of content, and I do plan in the future on expanding this a bit more to some Withering Waves content, because one of the things that I haven't been doing in Genshin is actually spending, despite the fact that I can even more so afford it right now. I've always been able to afford it really comfortably in the past, but even now I can, and I don't want to. And that's the other thing, because I've been playing Withering Waves without spending, I've noticed something. There's a lot more motivation to play the game because you want something, you're going to engage more with the game to get it, and of which you're going to do more activities, get more astrites, and it's just overall more satisfying to get these limited amount of characters that you can appreciate a bit more, because you're not short-circuiting the process. In other words, what I'm really trying to get at with this complicated argument is that in Genshin, because you can just spend to get a character, it can feel a bit less special, especially if the character in and of itself just falls off in terms of combat. You don't get any extra stories or any extra value in terms of spending, and overall you then start saying to yourself, well, what is the bang for buck here? And honestly, there is none in Genshin Impact. So that's kind of how my motivation has changed, and also how Withering Waves has kind of changed my perspective on getting characters and also working towards a character in air quotes, instead of skipping the process just by buying them. And that's just kind of the situation I find myself in. I'm having a ton of fun at work, and when I want to relax, I'm just not motivated to do the Genshin combat. In fact, if I really want a bit of excitement, that's what I find Withering Waves is kind of doing. So for Genshin, it's the leisure. For Withering Waves, it's going to be the combat and the excitement, and then everything else, in between, I'll try and share with you guys if possible. So yeah, that's been what's happening to KokomiClan. That's kind of everything in a nutshell. Happy to explain more in the comment section, but that's what I wanted to say for today. If you've got any questions, let me know, recommendations, concerns, and all of that good stuff. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well, and tell me what you think of the latest Stygian Onslaught. Cheers!